feel like we say this every time that it's been forever, but I don't remember the last one that we did. Was it in February?
Yeah, I think it was February. Something like February or end of February. End of February, I think.
Maybe. Because I only filmed one podcast, I think, in March. March was like a null period. February was like big, but then March I didn't do much.
Yeah, my March was a little crazy in terms of traveling. I think every single weekend, except for like one of the weekends, I was traveling somewhere. Mm-hmm. So I felt like I did nothing in terms of like content and work. Like I did, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Like it was a lot of like fun things that I have in the works, but like I haven't like finished them yet. So it was a lot. Yeah, it was kind of a null period. But I'm back now, which is good. It is April, and it feels like spring. I mean, I know it's been spring, but it kind of feels more like spring here. Like the flowers are all blooming, and it's like super sunny, less rain. Although we tend to get rain in April, but we haven't gotten any rain as of yet. 9 days in. 9 days in? Is it the 9th? Yeah.
Yes. Wow, it's the 9th already.
I know.
We had a 90-degree day the other day.
What?
Yeah, I think it was Friday maybe, but it was so hot. Like that shouldn't happen in April.
No, like that's. I mean, I don't know. Like East Coast, I guess it just had like those. I remember when I lived in Texas, there would be like these days where it would be suddenly like 80, 85 degrees. Never like 90. Not never, but mostly never 90 degrees. And then all of a sudden it would be like 40 degrees, and you're like, "What happened to my nice spring day?"
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It was like 68 today, pushing 70. So like it's definitely
nice.
Getting there. I don't like hot weather. I just want to be able to wear like a hoodie and long sleeve all the time. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It's been raining. That's good. Rain is exciting at least.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a period of like, gosh, I think it was crazy. There was like a whole month. I think it was February and then kind of going into March where it would rain like 5 days out of the week.
Yeah.
Which is like unheard of here. Like we're used to like droughts and like, you know, make sure you save your water and like all this stuff. And it was like, it would like actually pour rain, which for here, like it doesn't normally rain. It's like, it like rains, but it drizzles. Uh-huh. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, rain." It's like, guys, it's okay.
It's all
like
right.
It's not real rain. So, but yeah. So, which is good. We're out of a drought now, so that's exciting.
Always never a bad thing.
Yeah. So, but it's nice to have sunshine. I'm like, yes. Like feel more alive now.
See, where I edit, we don't have windows, and all days look the same. But it does get really cold. It like has really cold winters and really hot summers, so we're working on trying to mediate it. Like we had 2 fans going today because it was boiling.
Ugh.
But I don't know.
Never the right temperature.
No, yeah, there's no making it right.
No.
But we'll figure that out.
That's good.
But now, like I play disc golf almost every single day after work. I just go and play for 30 minutes just to do something. And having it hotter outside is better. Even though it's been raining, but warmer weather is better for that.
Yeah. No, definitely. That would be kind of a bummer to do like when you're freezing.
Yes.
like
wearing a bunch of laleers or layers.
Yeah. Levels and layers.
And layers. But no, it's been good. Kaya and I were just talking about the hypergrowth.
Oh yeah.
And it's I can't remember the one in Boston's in like September, I think.
Yeah, there's the one in Boston's in September.
And then
think the one San Francisco I think is like in November.
I think it's November 18th or around there because my dad's birthday is the 18th, so I remember that. But I think we're thinking of doing the San Diego one or San Francisco one.
Oh, I was like, what? There's a San Diego one?
Surprise. There's also a London one. How about we just go do that?
Oh my gosh, that'd be so much fun.
But I want to do that so bad because that first one was great. But then, like knowing what we'd be going into, I feel like we get even more out of it.
Right, like we're already prepared because we kind of already have that knowledge, of like what to expect and all that.
Yeah, if we could do the VIP tent too, I want to email that guy that
Michael.
Yeah. Or wait.
Yeah.
I think. Or the other guy. It was like Brad or Dave. I can't remember. It seemed like there was one other guy that was talking to us from the person that you knew. It was like a middle guy.
Yeah.
And just like email him and be like, hey, man.
There were a couple. Actually, it's super funny. I don't know if I told you this, but I tried to get... So there's David Cancel,
yeah.
I think is how he pronounces it. So that's the CEO, right? Mm. And then there's the other Dave, who's like he was like the MC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I tried to get one of those two guys on the podcast. And I it's funny because like they're a bot company, so I like chatted them, and then they chatted back, or he chatted back. Dave chatted back, and was like, yeah, but I think it was like right during it was in like November, so it was when they were having the other conference, so he was like super busy. But he was like, yeah, I'd love to like jump on and like talk about conversational marketing and cool stuff. And I was like, I need to follow up on that. But that just reminded me. I'm like, oh shoot.
I remember because I remember you sending us a screenshot.
Yeah.
That would be so sweet.
Yeah. It's so funny because my like claim to fame is if you go on Drift's site, I think I told you this, I screenshot it. My tweet about the conference, and they have it up there as a featured tweet.
My favorite thing is the tags. Like you have tags in it, and it cuts off right before it says my name. It's like you, Mary, and then cuts off.
Oh no!
And I just didn't quite. But it's so sweet that it's on just their main website. You just go on their website.
Yeah,
and it's there. That's sweet.
It's just straight up there. Yeah.
And pictures of Casey and I said, of course.
Yes.
Does it have the lit or the what's the word? Like the list of speakers yet?
I don't think so. I didn't see any, but I haven't checked in about a month. So I feel like because it's still pretty far out, so they probably don't announce it till like summer.
I know because they do that thing with like the early bird tickets or whatever. I know that's coming up soon.
Yeah. Oh well, maybe shouldn't they like announce it if they are doing early bird?
Because I remember when I was looking at the tickets to see how much the early bird was. I think it was like. It's like $200 for the regular and then like $500 for VIP or whatever the prices were.
Yeah.
And I was like, I kind of want to just go ahead and buy tickets now. But then I was like, but I don't know who's speaking yet. So I didn't.
Yeah, sort of like to be determined.
We're just waiting on it. But.
Yeah.
Although there were some good speakers that like I had never heard of before that
we saw.
Either way, like I feel like that it would be great. Plus, it'd be an excuse to go to San Francisco.
Yes. That's a cool place. I know. I haven't been there in a long time. It's been, I think, since 2011, something like that.
I've never been.
It's been. Oh well, then it's been a long time
since
been a real long time. I think never.
I think I might have gone when I was like 1. Like definitely don't remember it. 1 years old.
Yeah.
But it would be fun. Because, I mean, I feel like we would have to fly either way, and ticket prices are, like, the same to get to Boston and the San Francisco. So why not just go to one because, like, I would imagine y'all could probably drive. How far away is it?
Yeah, I mean, technically we could drive. It's like, let's see, Tahoe is 10 hours.
Oh, my.
9 hours. So it would be, like, 8 hours, I'd say.
So that's about that's like our Boston. I think that, well, no, where I am now, I'm a lot farther. But from Richmond, it's like 9 hours, I think.
Yeah. So it's definitely like a doable trip, but you definitely need like a good amount of time to get.
So might as well fly. But it would be a change of scenery.
Cheaper. Yeah.
But wasn't it a weird day? It like ends on it's like a Monday and a Tuesday, or like a Monday into a Tuesday.
Yeah. It is a really weird day. So yeah, I have to like look into it and see how doable it is too, especially with my schedule. But it was like strangely in the middle of the week.
Like I feel like it could have very easily. It's a 1 day thing. It could have very easily just been a Saturday.
Right? You're like, why didn't you just make it easy for us?
Yeah. Like they know. Like, I don't know. Maybe they look at it as it's professionals in that field that can go and talk about. Like they're like, this is a chance for you and your employees to go take a break and watch something. But
like they get the whole weekend and I don't know.
Because that's right. We were looking at it like maybe we could come up on the Saturday and then stay. And I think it was either a Monday or a Tuesday. And we're like, we can just stay the weekend and then go on Monday. But that's so weird. I don't know. We'll have to look into it.
Yep, have to look into it.
But it'd be so much fun. It's a great one. It was a great conference.
It was a great conference. It's also a fun trivia question. You went to Boston last year.
So when you sent that, after you sent that, I submitted a bio for myself that tried to separate. So yesterday, was it? I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. Actually, we planned this podcast yesterday. That's impressive.
We did.
Usually we take like a week. We're like, all right, maybe
we
next
do.
week. But yesterday, Taylor texted me and it was famousbirthdays.com or something.
Yeah.
Where did you find it?
I don't even know. I think I was like looking up, or I was like trying to look up your podcast or like something, and then it popped up with your name, and then it like had a bunch of like, on Google it just like throws up a bunch of stuff that's related, and it was like a related post, and then I like clicked something else, and then it got me to this site called like Famous Birthday. I think it's like famousbirthdays.com or something. I don't know. And I was like, what the heck? And I saw like your name, and I was like, it's probably not him. It's probably like some like other, I don't know what it is. And I click on it, and it says like famous YouTuber with like 16 million subscribers.
It was literally describing me as Mr. Beast.
Yeah. It was like, no, this is not correct.
So I went through, or like it has a little section where you can submit stuff. So I submitted like my own bio that separated me from that, so that then I might have that. What was I gonna say? Oh my gosh! So there's this app,
so funny,
or like a game app on like the Amazon Alexa. That's like it's called like Akinator or something, that you can think of a character. It can be fictional or real. And then, fictional or non-fictional, right? And it guesses it. And somebody added me on that. So I'm in that now, too.
Can you actually add people on
I guess so. I guess so. Somebody on Instagram was like, hey, I added you on Akinator. And I was like, nice. So I went and tried it. It's really hard to get to. Like, you really have to work for it. But
it's like super obscure.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I was so excited. You've made it when you're on the weird 20 questions thing on Amazon.
Yes. And when you're on famousbirthdays.com, so
and when you're on famousbirthdays.com, basically as Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
But that was fun.
I'm like, oh, that was a good one. That's a good discovery. I'm glad I found it.
And then we decided on this podcast. And
then we decided on this podcast.
We made it about procrastinating, which is perfect because we're procrastinating the topic. I'm just kidding.
We are.
I'm just kidding.
Surprise!
Surprise! That was our segue. We were gonna not talk about it for the first 10 minutes, and then get on into it. But I don't even know what to like talk about it, except for the fact that like I feel like it's almost a skill to have, like to be a good procrastinator.
It's true. I think. Yeah, I think everyone, like I know some people who are like, I don't procrastinate. And I think for a while I would say like, oh, like I don't procrastinate. I don't have a problem with that. And then I realized that I definitely do. Like, I think everyone struggles with it a little bit. So like, even if you're like listening to this podcast or watching this podcast, surprise, we're taping this. Like, you can think to yourself like, oh, I don't like struggle with procrastination. It's not really a thing. But I feel like we still all do it with like really small things. Mm-hmm. Like, for example, if you're like, oh, I really need to go to the store, but I also need to do this and that. I mean, that's procrastination right there.
Yeah, that was actually what I was just thinking. I was thinking like if you like busy people that say that they don't ever procrastinate, they have to procrastinate if they're busy because they're putting things over top of other things.
Yes.
That's interesting because everybody procrastinates.
Yeah. But it's like, okay, is it procrastination or is it prioritizing?
Yeah, that's true.
That's another like,
I feel like calling it prioritizing is really just like making procrastination okay. Like it's an
like
easy
legitimizing
like scapegoat.
it.
Yeah. You're like, you're not procrastinating, you're just prioritizing. You'll do that later. You're thinking about this now. But I feel like procrastination is really more when it comes to like it's an issue or like you're holding off.
Yeah. Yeah. Prolonged almost.
Yeah.
Like you have, or in some cases it's like you technically have the time but you're just being lazy. Mm-hmm. Or like, you're like, I could do it, but there's this more fun thing that I want to do. Mm-hmm. Which that happens to me on occasion. Like I would say I struggle with it on a consistent basis, more on the micro level of like, oh, I should probably go to the store, but I need to finish and do this stuff. But it never really gets to the point where it's like, whoa, like you're living off of like no food. Like you should go to the store.
Yeah, you should probably go now. Like it gets too far kind of thing.
Right. Like it's never, I never take it too far to where it's like, this is really a problem. But I definitely struggle with that. And I think I definitely use the excuse of prioritizing my time versus like, I should just get it done. Like I'm trying to get in that mindset of like, just get it done.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. I feel like I'm trying to like think of when I like procrastinate the most. And I feel like it's usually on something that I'm not confident enough in, or like if it comes to a project, it's like I don't know if it's like worth my time because I don't know if I'll end up liking it. So then I procrastinate and like, okay, I might as well just get it done. But yeah, I know that there's definitely times where I procrastinate on things that I also want done. I don't know.
Or it's like like I have this thing sometimes where I'm like afraid to begin. So I keep putting it off and it's like, no, like just do it, you know?
Yeah.
Because you're almost like, I don't know, like, or sometimes I have this idea of like, I want it to be really perfect, which I'm getting better about, but I still have like these like perfectionism issues where I'm like, I feel like I need to have a clear idea before I start something. Mm-hmm. And then if I don't, then I just put it off.
That's a big one, is me worrying that I'm not planned enough to start. That's yeah. I feel like that ends up being like the main thing, is like the fear of failure or fear of not being prepared enough, to where I just procrastinate it off until like I just magically feel comfortable. But it doesn't always work that way. And then I usually like will eventually get to the point where I'm like, all right, I'm just going to do it and just see what happens. And that's probably where I got like the format for this podcast. I was thinking about things way too much, and I was like, all right, we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about this. And then we would go and do it, and it would just be, it wouldn't meet my standards, or like it wouldn't, whatever. That would be too perfectionistic. But then I was like, I'll just go for it. And then, I don't know, it saves time a lot of times to not overthink. I've never thought about procrastinating and overthinking kind of going one-on-one. Yeah.
I don't know. I think that tends to be like how it affects me the most is, it's almost like, I think I was just thinking about it today too, which is funny. Like I have all these ideas and plans for doing different things, like specifically with my website and like my freelance business, which has kind of been pushed to the side for a little bit just because I've been doing like so much other things. And I have this Instagram, for example. I have this Instagram for my for like my actual freelance business. And I like made the decision to make it. Gosh, it was probably like, it's probably been about a year. No. It's been about like 6 months since I created it. And I was like all fired up, like really excited. I'm like, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to like take a bunch of the things that I've already done and I'm going to put them into the Instagram format and kind of like make it aesthetically pleasing and essentially like tell the brand story of my company and kind of what sort of services I offer, like this big grand plan, right? And so, and I was like, well, I'm going to like plan it out. So like each day I'm posting content and like I can kind of schedule this out and it all be good. But I need like a day to do this. Right. And so I kind of like, I feel like I keep wanting to start and I just like, I haven't, partially due to time constraints of other things that were coming up, which may be the prioritizing thought process. But here we are, fast forward 6 months, and I still have nothing posted. Yeah. But I have it. It's there. I just need to, sit down and just start it. But I think the thing that I was struggling with the most was this idea of, I needed to have it this perfect way. And then, I don't know, I've recently been thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I understand. I want to make it as good as I can. But at the same time, it's you got to start. In the grand scheme of things, if you post a lot and you post, pretty frequently and whatnot, people aren't going to scroll all the way through your feed or whatever. So if your first couple posts are kind of it's fine, you can always change it up. And so I kind of came to that conclusion like this week. I was like, okay, like I just need to sit down and just post like one thing. Let's just start with one thing. So that's like on my agenda of like things to do this week. But I think it all kind of stems from this idea of like trying to be perfect and trying to have everything be perfect. And that leads to this kind of fear, which leads to procrastination of what you want to do. And then you end up not doing it. And then you end up 6 months later, like, what am I doing? I have nothing.
Yeah. I always try to convince myself that it's easier to go up than like start so strong that then it's hard to sustain. So like posting every day, like I wanted to do that on my Instagram. I was like, okay, I'm going to post every day. And then I was like the similar situation. I was like, okay, I'm going to plan it all out. All right, look, I've got 16 posts. That's perfect. And then I'd be like, but what if I don't have enough? And then I just won't post and I'll like overthink it. Now I try to do like 2 or 3 and it's super loose. And it's like, if I don't, it's not the end of the world. At least I got something out. But I definitely do the pre-planning thing where I want to pre-plan, and all the pre-planning like stalls me to not ever do anything. Like that's kind of what I did with YouTube too, because I was posting a whole lot, and then it was almost like burnout came into factor, and I was like, I just don't want to do anymore. So then I just didn't post at all. Whereas if I was just doing like once every now and then, it would just consistent. It'd be the same. Like now I am trying to get structure in it. Like worries me because like structure sometimes just crumbles, but I feel like it's doing well, but I'm just trying to go like twice a week, and that's super chill. Like just see where it goes. But I don't know.
That's structure. Smart. I think that's actually kind of a good idea of like even just giving yourself like the freedom to be able to, like, you're not so tied into this structure of like you got to post every single day, which if you read any blog or you listen to any podcast of like how to boost, your social presence and this and that, like you hear them say every day, like you got to post every day. And like, I believe that. I understand like that will help you, but I also think that there are ways to kind of get around that to where like, if you're not quite there and you don't have that bandwidth, because I think you have to have a pretty large bandwidth to be able to do that. Yeah. It's a lot. Is like if you're just posting, you're consistently posting a couple times a week. Or once a week. Try once a week, But you're still doing it, and instead of having these periods of like nothing, which is like my biggest fear, and like that's what I hate, and that's kind of how the podcast has been. It's been like a big nothing for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And so instead of doing that, is just kind of like posting, like once a week, or just trying to get something out there. Get something out there. It doesn't matter if it's a podcast or if it's a post about how you don't have any podcast and you're, excited for this and that. And, it's just a matter of you got to be consistent and stick to something that's super reasonable. Otherwise, you're going to probably pressure yourself, and then you're going to procrastinate and not be able to get anything done. Yeah. I just feel like that might be it.
It's true. And then like, in our position, we're both like doing other things, so we can't put all of our focus into what we're trying to do. So like with podcasts and videos and whatever, it's hard to say, all right, for this I'm going to do all of this, for this I'm going to do all of this. You need to like break it down. So like Gary Vaynerchuk always said the thing, it was something insane. It was like always post like 15 pieces of content a day or something, but that could be across like Instagram stories, tweets, and YouTube, and like all this stuff. And I used to think like, no, that's impossible. But like if you spread it out, it's not as bad. But still, like you have to consider, like you said, your bandwidth on what you can actually like tangibly
achieve.
And because you can do whatever, but eventually you're gonna burn out if you're outdoing yourself.
Yes,
so I think something to play.
Yeah, I think recently I learned too. I was just thinking about it, and I was like talking with some coworkers about it, because I think we face this in our company that I'm working for now. Is we only have how many? There's only like 5 of us in the marketing team, 6 of us. And so you can only do so much, right? And everyone's got all these jobs, and for my case, it's a little bit harder because we're balancing like 19 resorts. So it's not like one brand and you're doing all the social media for it. It's like, it's multiple things. But We were just talking about like, okay, the reason why certain companies are so successful, and we feel like, you know, they're really killing it in social media, or they're killing it in their content they're developing, is they have like teams of people. Like, you know, it's not just a one person, one man show. It's like the reason why these people have like all this content, all this different stuff, and they're posting every day is because they have like 5 people just dedicated to their social media, like their Twitter, right, or, you know, whatever it is. And it obviously it depends on who you're talking about or what company you're talking about. But generally, you know, those people that are saying, hey, put out like all this content, they're, you know, they're coming from this idea of they have all these people that they can help them do that. Or, you know, if like that was my only job, if I didn't have like a full-time job, say, then yeah, you could argue that I could do a majority of these different things and I could be putting content out every single day. But since I, you know, I have a full-time job and I have several other things going on, realistically, I don't have the bandwidth to be able to even do that. So yeah, I don't know. So I was thinking about that or I guess it was earlier this week, like, and over the weekend. And I was like, well, I have all this pressure to like get all this stuff out, but I also don't have a team behind me. So how can I like modify, I guess, my strategy based on being a one person team?
Yeah.
What can we accomplish as a one person team, as in me? So yeah, I guess it's a hard thing to like think about, because like you have all these like goals and aspirations, which I think you can definitely hit a lot of that as a solo creator, but you got to be strategic on, you know, how are you going to get there? And it's not by putting 15 things out a day, because you'd kill yourself, as we said.
Yes.
and that's where burnout is and that sort of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So spreading yourself too thin is definitely real. Like, it's a real thing that people try to deny. And like, you see people overwork themselves way too often. Like, there's so many people, well, not so many, but there's a lot of people that I know that are like, all right, I'm going to start a challenge. We're going to do a daily, whatever it is. We're going to go daily from here, like a 30-day challenge even. And like, here we go. And then they'll do 5 in a row, like confident, and then they'll skip a day and they'll do 1, and then they'll like fall off completely. But it happens so often. Whereas, I mean, just do less. Yeah. Less can be more. Put more thought into one thing instead of 10 things. Or like even if you really want to do once a week, and that, like, to keep using that example, if you wanted to do once a day for a week, just do 2 or 3 times a week, or just like, I don't know, spread it less, but be consistent. I still think consistency is the biggest thing. Yeah. But people just have something to like know is coming.
I think that people like often forget like how important it is to just be consistent. And I think some people, I mean, it's hard, right? You have to like, people think it's like this whole process of like planning ahead, and it is. It's a lot of planning and pre-recording and that sort of thing. But I think sometimes people, like we said, are just a little too ambitious with it. And it's like, okay, you got to know what's your time. How much time do you have realistically? Yeah. You know,
so I think sometimes not overdo it.
Yeah. I think sometimes like people almost feel like they owe their audience something. I think we've talked about that a little bit, but
oh yeah.
I mean, yeah, we talked about that a little bit, and it's such a hard thing, but I think that can also play. I think it can also play into procrastination a little bit. I could see that as like, well, I'm not going to do this because I need to be able to do this because so and so, like, they need it from me. And it's like, really, no, like, people don't need any of our content, really. Yeah. You know, you can try and create a need for people to watch, right? But really, it just comes down to people are going to leisurely watch your stuff, most likely, or, you know, watch it to get information or something like that. But I mean, do they need it to survive? No. So like, if you're like kind of falling off the train and, you know, you need more time, or like you had something come up, it's like,
That's when prioritizing comes in.
Yeah, that's where prioritizing comes in, because at that point you're not like procrastinating. It's like you actually have something that you need to get done. But yeah, I guess that's a factor too.
Yeah. And I feel like that's fun. Like you end up bouncing things off of each other. Like you're like, I don't want to do this thing and I don't want to do this thing. And then you're like, I'm just not going to do either of them. So
yes, we're just like, oh, okay, I'm done.
I'm done with I'm just going to stop for today. I know I had other things on my list. But yeah. Oh, that's I was trying to remember what the podcast was.
Slaves to Guilt.
Slaves to Guilt. Yep. How we feel like we have to post when you don't have to.
That one's actually...
That was one of the better ones.
Popular one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could link that. I'm going to link that down below. What time frame?
Okay. Yes. We'll link it.
Always got to have my little notepad.
Oh, yeah.
I'm trying to get better at doing like the promotion for podcasts because I'm like jealous of how y'all do it.
Episodes. Mm-hmm. Oh, do we?
No, well, I mean, like the way that y'all do, like all the, I can't remember the graphics for each episode, and there's like 3 of them. Like I do nothing. I just go on my story and I post. I need to be more adamant about that.
Yeah, those take time. Those
I know.
Are, which I actually had a thought like for season 2. I was like, oh my gosh, should I just not do them? Because I know they take a long time. But I like doing them because, I mean, for me, I think it's kind of fun. You're kind of like figuring out a way to visually, simply describe what you're saying in the podcast with like a vision or images or whatnot. I had a thought of like, should I keep doing these? And I was like, but what am I going to post on Instagram?
Yeah.
So, because we don't really use photos. We just do like all like more graphic things. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I'm still like debating that. Again, that's another one of those. It's funny. I was hesitating to do season 2, not because I didn't think I was going to do season 2, but I was trying to figure out. I was like, well, I gotta like plan it out, and I gotta like pre-record, and then I was like, no, I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I need to just stick with what I know and just go with it. We started this, continue it, and then if I decide to kind of change up the look later on, not a big deal. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
I don't know. I definitely am subject to overthinking. I try to just now for some of my YouTube videos, I have one of my friends editing for me, and it's frees up so much time.
That's so nice.
So nice. Because I was really hesitant to do that. He's been asking if he could edit some stuff, so I would do like my live streams, and I'd be like, here, you can go and edit these, and I'd post those every now and then. But then I was like,
is
okay.
Is someone who like lives close to you?
No,
or is it like...
It's somebody that I met on our Discord, and he came in, and it's fun. He found my Discord like separately from Mr. Beast, so it was like a flood of Mr. Beast people, and then he came in separately, like just straight from my channel, which was great. But
that's great.
Offered to edit, and I was hesitant, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna let you try this one, and he tried it, and it was great, and it looked exactly like something that I would do. So it frees up a lot of time. I still edit some of mine just because I like to edit them, but when I'm editing all the time, I just
and it's for your job too.
Yeah,
that's so. Yeah.
So just to free up a little bit of time and then to still get content out, it works out perfectly. So there's always delegation to stop procrastination if you have the means or the financial freedom or whatever it is.
Yeah. That's honestly, it's so funny. I've been thinking about it, like just not necessarily outsourcing like editing the podcast, because the podcast for me, it's really easy to edit. I don't have a problem with editing. It's more of like scheduling and timing and all that sort of stuff. But I've thought about having one of my good friends that I work with help me with like the social media side of it. And more so, like, I understand obviously the basics of posting, you post a photo, blah, blah, blah. But it's more of like, I would like to get into more of the analytics of it and also doing some Facebook ads. What does that look like? But like for me, like I'm still like super new to like Facebook ads, and I want to be educated and learn more about it. So it's more of like, I feel like I need her to like train me on it more so than anything, but kind of like see if she can like help with kind of like kickstart it in some sense. But often I've thought about if I just had one more person to just, crank out even like, or even do some designs and stuff, like, that would be good too. So it's just kind of like, you know, like it just helps to have like the extra person in the mix. I guess that's a you know, thing that we could say is like a solution to possible solution to procrastination is get somebody
else to do it.
Yeah.
Or at least help out.
Well, yeah, or even if they're not like doing any of it, just to hold you accountable.
Yeah,
I'd say, you know, because if you have someone that's reporting to you, like, you are more likely to have your ducks in a row and, you know, be cranking out stuff because you know that that person needs XYZ to be able to do, you know, whatever it is that you need to do. Yeah. So
that's something I've learned with my friend editing is he edits it and then sends it to me, and if there's anything to change, I'll just have him change it. But it's still like I'm still involved in the process, so like it's not entirely out there, but it's been. I mean, I've enjoyed it because I can free up some time. But yes, it's definitely helped with scheduling because I can like I can know that I can work on the podcast and then he'll do a video, and then it's just things are in a row. And it's nice. Right. I was I really didn't want to for the longest time. Like I just wanted to like do everything myself, but it's worth it. And he does great, so it works out.
I mean, there you go. And that's you knowing your own bandwidth of like, you know you're not going to be able to edit and record and do all these things in addition to your, 9-to-5 job. Mm-hmm. Like that it's just not realistic. Yeah. So, I mean, that's good on you for that. You know, you're kind of learning how to navigate that. And yeah, that's good. Yes. I'm still learning.
You overlook burnout. I think that's the biggest overlooked thing is like everybody's like, I've got so much time. Like I've got a 9-to-5, but then I'm also up from whatever 5 to 12 or whenever you stay up till, and you're like, that's 7 hours. I got so much time. But then you don't think about how like you need a break at some point, and then you've got other obligations. So delegation and planning. I think those are the two solutions to procrastination.
Yes. Yeah, especially if you write it out, like, or I have this thing called Asana, which you may know about, but basically it's like a task, like it's a site where you can like kind of project management, like task list making, kind of that sort of thing, organization. And I used it for my freelance for a while, and I'm doing it with some companies that I'm helping. And so it's kind of a cool tool to like be able to like write your deadlines, and then you can like write out like descriptions of what you need done, and then like prioritizing and calendars and stuff like that. And I found that if I don't write out what I need to do for the week, I won't do it. Yeah. Or I'll do it, but not to the extent that I like originally wanted to. So if I like write everything out and it's like literally online to where I'm like, ooh, like I see that I need to get that done. That helps too. I guess that sort of helps. I mean, it's still up to you whether or not you're going to procrastinate. Mm-hmm. But I think if you have it written down, you're a lot less likely to put it off because you see it there.
And writing it down also makes everything seem like doable, and it's a lot. It saves a lot of stress because you're like, I've got so many things, and you write them all down, and you're like, oh, that'll only take like 10 minutes. And that's how I whenever I do lists or like to-do lists, I always think of them and how long they'll take. And like, okay, I can group all these together because I can go do them at the same time, and then this and this, whatever. But writing it out definitely always helps. Yeah. I need to try like a task manager. I just use the Notes app and the Reminders app.
But that's good. Those are both good.
And then Google Calendar.
Task Manager is like next level because you can also set on Asana, and Asana's free, which is cool, which not all task managers are. Mm-hmm. But you can set it up to where it'll like either send you an email or just a push notification, and it'll say like recurring, and you could say like it'll like say you should notify this or that team of progress on XYZ project, and you're like, oh shoot, like I need to do that. So I have different things set up basically so that if I do forget, it's going to like ping me, and I'm gonna see it. So like I think that's another thing that's helpful, and that kind of keeps me on track. And that way I'm not like, dropping the ball.
Yeah. What's it called?
Asana. Asana.
Oh, that's easy.
Asana. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I need to try that. I like, because Reminders has a little thing that will ping you, but it's not as good. But it has what I like about it is it'll have like the little badge notification. So it'll be like you still have like 7 things. It'll have the little red badge. But a ping would be nice, especially on like long deadlines. That's like you have like a week to do or whatever. Yeah. Because then it'll remind you throughout the week.
Yeah, I always find whenever I put stuff in there, it feels like everything's so much more doable. Like, because it's written out and you're like, oh, okay, that's not like as overwhelming.
Yeah.
And then, you can kind of like set up where you can like check off the different things that you have. And I don't know. And then it'll like disappear if you're like done. So it'll archive it. But if you like mark it as complete, it does like this cool little thing and then it's like complete. And then it like goes away. So you're like, okay, great. Like I finished that. And like it feels good to just like go through it and just finish everything.
Yeah. There's a sense of accomplishment.
Yes. Which I think that builds confidence into, okay, I can do this. I think then there's less chance of procrastination when you're like, oh wait, this is totally doable.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And like I always will put like little things on a to-do list that are like easily done, just to have things marked off, so it makes it like it gets the ball rolling, and I just feel like I'm doing things.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah, there was a this guy from the Navy who gave this commencement speech, which you may have heard. I don't know. Some people have. But it's like he gave this commencement speech at graduation at UT, and he said like one of his like keys to success. He touched a little bit on like procrastination and just getting things done and being productive. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that he said was he gave the example of making your bed every day. And he said, if you can do that one task, make your bed in the morning, mm-hmm. then it kind of gives you that sense of accomplishment to where it gives you the confidence to be able to accomplish more things that may be more, more taxing or more complex. Yeah. So it kind of gives you that needed little boost to be like, okay, sweet. If I did that, then I can get this done. I can knock this out. And then it kind of like has this, kind of effect, like stair effect of like, okay, this. And then you're hitting all these different goals. Yeah. And it's not always the case, but I remember like that always stuck with me. I don't even know how I just like found it on YouTube or something. But yeah. I should find that and link it.
Jordan Peterson always talks about that, and he always says it's like getting one thing. It's like human nature to like be excited when you finish something. So then if you when you make your bed, mm-hmm. it just like it's like like you crave that accomplishment and you just want to keep doing that throughout the day. So it's just starting the day on the right foot, and then you just keep going. But it's true. My bed's not made up, but usually it is. And I like it because it was in his book, the 12 steps for something, but he talks about it on a podcast all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, my mom's calling me. I'll call her later.
Hi, Mom.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really good. I like that. I think I definitely need to make my bed more. My bed goes into the wall, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, no, it's definitely something to think about, especially when you kind of feel stuck. Yeah. Because I've had those times where I feel stuck. And I guess it's like kind of a sense of procrastination because you're like, I don't know how to move forward on it. So therefore I'm not going to do like what I need to do. Yeah. Or, so that's kind of, it's a good idea. Even for like stuff at work, like I tend to do like the smaller, like a couple small tasks right away. Yeah. Because I know I can. Right, and it's like I know I can accomplish it and I can complete it. Because I think there's nothing worse than going into work and you might have a lot of projects to do, and then you end up like you're like working through them, but you don't complete anything. Mm-hmm. It's like the worst feeling ever. I have a lot of projects like that because they're like bigger projects. And if I just have that little tiny project that I can just knock out right away in the beginning, then I feel like so much more like motivated to be able to be like, okay, I can finish half of this, or,
Yeah, that's another thing is doing things in steps. Like if you have a big project, just do it in steps, just so that you feel like throughout the way you're getting something done and it doesn't feel so taxing the whole time.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah, steps are good.
I mean,
especially.
Oh, Go ahead.
It's complex.
If it's so, I was doing that the other day, or well, it wasn't. It was a while ago. We had a project that just felt like it just kept going on, and
oh gosh,
I was just like, all right, I'm gonna write down like minute. It was a video project, so it was like in a timeline, and I wrote down like minute marks. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna get minute 0 through like 5 done, and then 5 through whatever, just to have like something where I was like, okay, things are getting done, even though it doesn't feel like it, and it feels like this is never gonna end. Just little goals. The little goals make things feel shorter.
Yes, that's true. And more achievable. And measurable. Wait, what is it? SMART goals? Specific. Measurable. Oh gosh. I learned this in school.
Attainable?
I
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't actually know that one. I've never heard that acronym. R
is realistic. T is like time or like timely. Shoot, now I need to look that up. Wait, I need to look it up because it's gonna bother me.
I feel like it adds smart.
SMART goals. Okay, wait a minute. It's going. Okay. Specific, measurable. Yeah, you're right. Achievable or attainable. Relevant. Okay, and time bound or time based. There we go.
That's good. That's a good thing to go by.
Yes.
Just be smart with your time.
Be smart.
Or be smart with your projects.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time-based. Yes. Those are keys.
Time is your biggest friend. I heard, I mean, going back to delegation, the only way to buy time is to delegate.
Wow.
That's deep.
That's deep.
You're literally buying time.
You're literally buying time. It's true, though. We oftentimes are like, okay, how can we make this 24-hour day longer? And sometimes the answer is to
delegate,
get help,
or to
delegate.
Less of something. Like I know, so like everybody keeps posting all these social media things where like Casey Neistat did it, where he feels like he's overdoing social media, and then Yes Theory just posted one. So it's
really?
It's becoming a hot thing to be on social media less. It's so hard when it's like part of your job or like connected so closely to your job, but I think that it can still, I have all my notifications turned off on social media. So I'm not like, I feel like that's the biggest thing is like, you'll get a notification and then that'll bring you there and then you're on for a while. But like Instagram, I only have notifications on for, if I'm tagged in a picture, so I can go and like it and then that's it. And then I go away. That's good. And then Twitter, I don't have anything on. So I like have to go to Twitter to check it.
Yeah.
And that's
probably a big
lot.
thing. Notifications is probably the biggest.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely related a little bit to the different posts. I didn't see Yes Theories yet, but even Casey's video about just overdoing it on social media.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing because I feel like a lot of my job is social media. It really is. I'm managing social media for people. Yeah. So you're like, okay, I need to do this for work. So I need to be like aware of what's going on. I need to be like present. I need to be on it quite a bit. But like, where do I find that? I'm having such a hard time with this, but like, how do I find balance of like not overdoing it, but like you're still doing it for work and you're still in it?
Yeah. Like he was saying, he spends like only like 5% of the time he's actually doing work stuff. So it's just finding the balance and not overdoing it.
Yeah. Maybe if it's like more focused instead of just like mindless scroll, like they were saying, which I feel like I'm doing less and less of nowadays.
Yeah.
Just based on like not having enough time, honestly. And just more focused stuff. And when I'm on social media, I'm like, you look at sort of the updates a little bit, but sometimes I'm looking for specifics and specific companies that I'm tracking, and some of them I am tracking. I'm getting notifications, so I'm seeing when they're posting and stuff like that. But I'm starting to kind of transition into more of it, looking at it on like a strategic business basis, which is, I guess, I would say it's a little bit different than just kind of wasting your time.
Yeah, that's what I try to do. I try to like do it based off of like building a following or getting inspiration. Like inspiration is like a gray spot where like either you're like being entertained or you're trying to find inspiration. But it's just, I mean, just not overdoing it.
Yeah, that's true. It's art. It's definitely, it's an art form.
It is.
Trying to find really that balance.
Balancing your consumption of social media is its own art form.
Yeah, it is. Like, how do I do it?
Mm-hmm.
It's doable, though.
It is doable.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, there's definitely people, like, I mean, it sounds like Casey really does need a break. I mean, like, you know, how much is he actually doing work on, you know, most of it is just him just mindlessly scrolling because he probably has ADD or something of that effect of where he needs to be doing, you know, all these things.
Yeah,
so
he replies to a lot of tweets too.
Yeah, he's very active on Twitter with that sort of thing. So I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like if you have people, you know, or you know, you don't really necessarily need to be deep in those, you know, because he's mostly just doing YouTube stuff. It's like, well, you know, you could probably lessen your consumption at that point.
Yeah, like if you're a YouTuber, you can stick with YouTube and then the rest of the stuff. I remember that used to be a challenge, was the only YouTube challenge, or like only your one thing. Like the Vlog Brothers, that's like how they started, was like they wrote basically like vlog letters to each other, and that was their only way of communication.
Oh, dang.
So like you can make it into a challenge if that's your forte.
Yeah. That's crazy.
I don't know how we ended up getting... Oh, well, no, that still makes sense. Like, procrastinating, social media is like the biggest leader in the reason you procrastinate.
Yeah, I was going to say, I guess that could be a whole other
subconsciously got there. Yeah.
It subconsciously just got in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would say for sure. I think less so now, but I used to rely super heavily on like looking at social media before, or I guess social media, meaning it could be anything, right? It could be like even Pinterest.
Yeah.
And solely like looking at all these different sites for inspiration to start doing different things. And I've noticed nowadays, I mean, I still need inspiration. Everyone needs inspiration, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm still going on there, but I find myself like less and less just endlessly scrolling through a bunch of ideas and things, and more so just kind of coming up with things on my own.
Yeah.
And of course, it could be inspired by something that I saw that previous day or whatnot, but I'm spending less time just going through all this different stuff and just kind of trying to come up with my own stuff. I don't know if that counts for anything.
I think that counts.
I think it's a good thing to like practice, is like, okay, what can I do with what I already kind of know?
Yeah.
Like just start going, just do it. Like I kind of got that way with the podcast covers, because I was like in the beginning spending so much time on them, and I was like, okay, first of all, people aren't buying these. Like it has no monetary value per se. Like this is just some sort of interpretation of what I made already.
Yeah.
So I was like, I needed to just not spend endless time trying to like make this really perfect thing, and just create whatever comes to mind. And so that's kind of how I've been doing them, is like spending less time but more focused on just how can I simply kind of...
It's more interpretive than...
Yeah, it's more interpretive. How can I just interpret this in a really simple sense? Because that's kind of how our aesthetic is like, it's very simple. It's not a lot of things going on. So how can I like break it down into like a very simple design?
Yes.
So I don't know if that helps at all for different people, but I think then it's less procrastination at that point, because I'm not sucked into something where I'm just trying to get a bunch of inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything else related. I mean, I'm sure I could go on forever, but...
Yeah.
Any other big points?
Though. I mean, really, kind of like we said, it's like, you know, figure out kind of like the why behind your procrastination, I'd say, to start with. Like, if you have like, you know, if procrastination is really affecting you, and I think it's affecting everyone in a certain small way, but kind of recognize where you're procrastinating, figure out kind of why that is. And then from there, figure out if it's maybe a time management thing. If it's, you got to delegate to other people. Does it mean doing less? And then just kind of going for it and just doing stuff and taking the risks. And try your best to not be afraid to take the risks.
Yes.
And just not stop focusing on perfection, because you're going to get nowhere.
Don't let it overwhelm you.
Yeah.
Don't let any of it overwhelm you, because procrastinating can overwhelm you, and then that'll also lead you to not want to do anything.
Exactly.
But
see procrastination as the enemy.
Find the answer.
Find the answer. Yeah. And SMART goals.
And SMART goals.
Goals. Just write out your goals. Find a task manager. I suggest Asana, but I know a lot of people who use Slack. I have not tried Slack. Slack's a little bit more for like teams of people. It's better for if you're like collaborating. If you're delegating and you have a lot of people that you're working with, then I suggest Slack. But otherwise, just find a task manager, set goals, set notifications, spend less time on social media. But if you're on social media, have it be focused.
Focus it well.
Yeah.
Just like think it through.
Focus it well.
Have a purpose.
Yes.
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 Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Perfect. I
think we wrapped it up.
I think that wrapped it up well.
Good.
Cool.